Hello, and welcome to this next episode of the Phoenix Theatre podcast, where we are talking to the cast and directors of the play Full Circle by Janet Shaw, which is going to be performed in November at Phoenix Theatre in Ross-on-Wye. And today, on this episode, we're joined by Will Shaw. Say hello, Will.
Hello, good to be here.
That's good. That's always helpful. And Will, now you have a very, very easy job of it in terms of remembering the name of your character, don't you?
Yes, I do. My character is called Wills, so just Will with an S.
So all you have to remember, and it's actually quite easy then for the directors and the cast because we just say Will and we know that we're going to get it,
Oh,
almost
absolutely. Yeah.
almost right, don't we? Yes, yes. So how's the rehearsal period gone? How are you feeling about the role? What would you like to tell us about Wills?
Oh, what can I say about Wills? Well, Wills is a very interesting and very, very fun character to play for me because he's the first proper comedic role that I personally have ever played. But that I've noticed as well, that doesn't mean that he doesn't have any depth. He very much has a character arc of his own in this story. And it's something that's been very interesting and fulfilling for me to explore because in the start of the play, he's very flamboyant, obviously. That is one thing we can definitely say about Wills. But it's it's his journey of feeling like he's forced at the start to be overly flamboyant and overly like over the top about him and his sexuality and his just his entire personality. And over the course of the play, he really learns to kind of find himself essentially. He learns to sink into his own, and obviously other characters in the play do help with that transition, as namely Brian.
Mm.
And it's just wonderful to see a character and experience a character really finding and accepting who they authentically are and letting go of this idea that they need to be so hand-fisted with a certain image that they feel they need to uphold because
Yes,
it's going to get
exactly.
them
Yes.
validation or attention.
Yes. With that almost expected persona that he kind of thinks
Yes.
that everyone is looking for. And
Mm.
what I quite like about his function in the play, if you like, is that he's such a good opportunity for Brian also to show his personality because he's not the most tolerant of people. He's not the most understanding of people in terms of wills. And then, in the whole play is very aptly named, isn't it? Because that relationship, along with other relationships, comes full circle. And we're not going to say too much about that, but I think that's also quite fascinating. And he is funny. Oh, well, I have to say, because I've seen you in the rehearsal, you are
Yes.
so funny. Um, and I just think he's a lovely sort of light touch, isn't he, as well? And he's obviously very empathetic to the twists and turns of the plot as well.
Yes, absolutely. I feel like he really balances the other characters very well,
Mm.
especially in the more serious moments. Uh, without spoiling anything, of course. But yeah,
Yes, of
especially
course.
in, of course,
Yes,
we're
yeah.
we're at we're so professional over here. Yes,
Of
but
course
yes,
we
he,
are.
but
Yes.
yeah, he is a really wonderful light, and he brings a lot of levity to some much more uh heavy moments, we could say. And yeah, he's just a wonderful character to play. He is just
Mm.
a really wonderful character to play. And I've just had so much fun I've just had so much fun performing him, and he's allowed me to explore a lot as an actor as well, and really see how far I could uh, push my own boundaries.
Yes,
And
yes,
and he's
indeed.
unlike he's completely unlike any character I've played before, and I think that's just wonderful. And I'm very, very excited uh, to for everyone to come along and actually
Yes.
experience Wills for themselves.
And so on that subject then, what would you say about the play in terms of the kind of experience that you think an audience and member is going to get from it? What do you think is the magic of the play?
Oh, it's a comedy that makes you think. It I think it's handled it extremely well in its writing and in the general path that the story takes. I think it's very good at reeling an audience in and almost not giving them a false sense of security, but like really engaging an audience with its comedy elements, and then also delivering a powerful and palpable and impactful message uh, with the use of its comedy and as like a really good medium to, you know, allow it
Yeah.
to sink into for people.
Yes, and sort of how that plot line unfurls. And how many times have you performed at the Phoenix?
This is my first ever time.
You see, I
Not only
thought it was. I thought it was. And so how do you find it? Because it's a little bit different for an actor, isn't it?
Oh yes, it is it is definitely very, very intimate. It is very, very intimate. It's probably one of the smallest theaters I have performed in, and I think that's wonderful. I think that's absolutely wonderful because it really, I think from an audience perspective as well, it really helps them immerse more into the performance. Instead of as we know from performing, there isn't actually a stage, there isn't an elevated platform in the Phoenix. It is just half the room is where the performance is happening, and then the other half of the room is where the seats are. So it's not even like you're seeing a show on a stage and you have that kind of disconnection as an audience. You see it's the play's over there, it's on that stage, I'm over here. It's more so you're there with the characters, you're in the same room, and it's almost as if you're just watching like some people talk amongst themselves in these characters. You're just seeing them as real people chat amongst themselves as you would a group of normal people if you were stood in the same room as them, if that makes any
Yes,
sense.
exactly. Yes. And I think that it also enables us as actors to really bring it down and make that performance really really natural.
Oh yeah.
Because we don't have to project out. We can
Mm.
just be really as close to, as you say, a realistic observation as we possibly can. And it
Oh,
means that we
absolutely.
can
Yeah.
drop our voices down, you can whisper in there, and you can still be heard. So that gives us a lot of
Mm.
vocal flexibility as well, doesn't it? Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
it really allows you to portray the subtle elements of a character better, especially
yeah,
when so for example, when my character Wills says something under his breath, it really allows me to actually, kind of say it under my breath. I don't have to pretend that I'm saying it under my breath and still project it outwards and
yeah,
have that kind of disconnect. I can actually just fully immerse myself in the character and speak exactly how that character would speak in that situation, and
naturally. Yeah.
that's just a wonderful extra element of immersion, not only for myself but obviously for the audience watching as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Good. So, lastly, then, because we're keeping these podcasts as short as we can, little bite size that we hope everybody's going to listen to and enjoy. I just wanted to say that apart from the performance, I think the audience is in for a treat with some of your costumes.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. And maybe that's all we say, but we could say it's worth coming just to see the fashion flair of Will's, I would say.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hands down, this is the most fun I think I've ever had with a character's wardrobe in my entire acting career. So I will just leave it at that. It is
There we go.
it
Oh,
is a
lovely. Well, thank
spectacle.
you. Yes, it is a spectacle. Yes, yes, quite. Oh, Will, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast. And
My
we
pleasure.
wish you a very, very successful run. And we look forward to seeing you in full circle. Thank you.
Thank you. I look forward to being there.